to the local sports Chowdown. I'm your host, Red Velvet. With me, as always, Uncle Lump.
Hello.
So it's been a busy
Yeah,
weekend of
it has.
a lot of sports activities, a
Yeah.
lot of community activities. I know yesterday.
You were very busy.
I was very busy. Me and the fam, we ventured Clay County Youth Softball League, CYFL. We went to the Northview Marching Knights Community Day, and then stopped off in Terre Haute at the Everhote Co. 1 year anniversary party.
Nice.
Good times.
Very busy
Good
day.
times. Oh yes, definitely.
I did none of those things.
You did none of those things. You were holding down the home front. You're having car trouble.
Yeah.
Trying your hand at mechanic
Yeah.
work.
It's not going well, but
No,
hey,
no,
I
well.
made it. So
Can you change the tire?
Yeah.
Can you change oil?
yeah,
No.
not well, but
You're good to go.
it's way easier to just
Yeah.
take it somewhere.
No,
But,
it
yeah,
happens. It
I
happens.
could if I had to. I
Yeah.
think
So, like I said, if you noticed, we now have
merch.
added to. We have a diner hat now, and where's my notes? I forgot. There they are. You didn't see that. If you go
Very
to
efficient.
shop.thedinerpod.com, you can purchase one of these nice hats. They are Richardson 112 snapback with the Diner Pod logo on them. Real fancy. Also, this is my own custom made shirt with the Diner Pod embroidery. Now we also have shirts for sale. The black, the local sports Chowdown shirt. We have these two shirts in Northview maroon. And then we've recently updated with red velvet red, all in these logos. Red velvet red, pretty in pink, and diner green. So
Yeah. They're all on our site, and then obviously, like we said, the shop.thedinerpod.com is where you can get the hats. And if you just message us on Facebook, that's where the shirts are. We're going to do those through today, tomorrow.
The first wave will go through today. We take Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and if I really like you, I'll come meet you for cash. So,
and we really like all of you.
We really like all of you.
So get your shirts.
$25 gets you a sweet Diner Pod t-shirt. $25 gets you a sweet Diner Pod hat. So go out and get your stuff. Let's jump into it here.
We got our
I got
out of the way.
A little warm, but I had to brag on my wife.
She did a great job.
She did a great job
Those look
making
awesome.
those. Well, she presented me with a box late last night. I'm sitting there in the dark watching a movie, and she goes, "Here," hands me a box, kind of loose. And I'm like, and she's smiling while she's doing it. I'm like, I swear if there's a snake in there, there's going to be a new doorway. But it was just
That's good. At least it was good.
It was a hat and a coat.
It was diner merch.
Diner merch. So, all right, starting off Friday night action. The varsity Northview Knights faced off against Guerin Catholic. It was a great game. Great game. Guerin Catholic won 29-24. I think when the momentum changed was right before halftime when our student section yelled, "Overrated."
Yeah. Doesn't usually help.
When that was going down, I was like, "Yep, that's not good." So here's a little fun fact from a former Spirit guy: don't yell that until the end of the game.
Save that one for later.
So anyway, some offensive stats. Kyle Kati had 20 carries, 138 yards, 3 pass completions, and 27 passing yards. Tyler Lee, 15 carries, 133 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Tanner Hayes had 1 carry, 31 yards, and approximately 100 kickoff return yards. He's kind of fast.
He is very fast.
He's only a freshman.
Is he really?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep, he has a mustache, but he's only a freshman. And Colton Bath with a reception for 1 yard. Kalen Bell, 2 receptions, 26 yards. And Luke Whitman kicked a 24-yard field goal and 3 extra points. Also, another offensive note, number 25 from Guerin Catholic lost his jock strap due to a nasty juke from Kyle Kati. When I was leaving the game, the jock strap was still in the field. So we'll mail that back to Noblesville or wherever they're from.
Small victories.
Hey, you guys, yeah. Coach Forker line report. Aiden Swearingen, Cale Allen, and Brandon Brewer all had a high score of 94. And Brandon Brewer had 3 pancakes. Oh, Texas high school football. The game's going to be streamed on,
Sweet.
Spammers. Nice try, clickbaiter. On the defensive side, Gage Thompson, leading tackler with 10 tackles.
Should have finished it.
What?
No.
Okay. I'll give it a 10. Jace Deacons had 8. Is that what you wanted?
No, yeah.
Okay,
One more.
sure. Kai Moore had 7. Luke Marlowe, 6 tackles and an interception. Slade Fell, 6 tackles and an interception. And Aiden Swearingen with 5 tackles. Ooh, JV had 2 games this week. Monday night, the JV faced off at home against Terre Haute South. They walked away with the victory, 18-12, in a very rough game. Offense, Briar McCluskey, 13 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Gibson Schimmel had 9 carries, 40 yards, 7 pass completions, 72 yards, and a passing touchdown. Cole Bennett, 4 carries. I read the wrong one. 4 carries, 14 yards, 3 receptions, 47 yards.
I'll butcher like 5 of them.
Yeah, it's all good.
It'll be fine.
Porter Jones had a carry. Peyton McCollum had 3 receptions for 16 yards, and Clayton Yates had a reception, 9 yards, a touchdown, and 1 pancake. On the defensive side, Tristan Mackey led the way with 4 tackles. Dominic Barnhart had 3 tackles and 3 pass deflections. Carter Kumpf, 3 tackles. Clayton Yates with 2 tackles, 1 for a loss. Elijah Peyton McKillop, 2 tackles, 1 pass deflection. His mom loves it when I butcher his name. So that's doing it on purpose now.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yep. Jackson Kirby, 2 tackles, 1 for a loss, and also a scoop and not score. But he scooped it and got a good run. But
scooped it almost.
When a lineman picks up the ball and he's got to run more than 60
Just
yards.
the fact that he scooped it and was able to move is a good thing.
Yeah. Nathan Goebel, now this is an impressive one. 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and a scoop and score.
That's a lot.
So let's do this. The sack, forced fumble,
Okay.
fumble recovery, and the touchdown was all in one play.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That definitely made the highlight reel.
I can imagine.
And Porter Jones with a tackle, a pass deflection, and the hat trick of interceptions got number 3.
And weren't you supposed to shout out our statisticians for this?
No, that was
That's
next
not
game.
this game. Okay.
No, I was at that
Sorry.
one. I was at that live.
Sorry.
Our next one, the JV, yesterday traveled to Guerin Catholic, and I want to give a special shout out to Courtney Hudak for being the stat tracker, running the stat tracker 9000, and Brian McCluskey for editing it. So thank you very much. And also shout out to Brittany McCluskey for all the awesome film work you do, because I steal your videos off Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start on, the Knights did beat Guerin Catholic 28-13. Briar McCluskey, 16 carries, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 2-point conversion.
I think that's because he just bought one of our shirts.
Oh, yeah,
He'd
also
power.
Yeah. Yep.
Gave him some extra power.
Yep. We'll blame that. It wasn't all the hard work he put in. No, he bought a Diner Pot t-shirt and gave him the boost.
So, I'm just kidding. It was probably the work.
Cole Bennett, 3 receptions for 60 yards. Peyton McCollum, 2 receptions for 14 yards. Clayton Yates, 2 receptions, 4 yards, and a 2-point conversion. Gibson Schimmel, 9 carries, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 pass completions, 78 yards, and a 2-point conversion. Caden Hall, 2 carries for 11 yards. Stephen Wells, 3 pancakes. Peyton Gorell, 1 pancake. Tristan Mackey, 2 pancakes. And Jackson Kirby, 1 pancake.
Man,
There's
lots of pancakes.
They were serving pancakes left and right.
It's a good morning.
I know. On defense, Porter Jones, 2 tackles, 3 pass deflections. Dom Barnhart, 2 tackles, 1 pass deflection. Jackson Kirby with a sack. Elijah McKillop, 2 tackles and 1 for a loss. Carter Kumpf, 2 tackles. And Stephen Wells had a tackle and a fumble recovery. Let's kick it over to Uncle Lump for some middle school action.
All right. We'll start with the 7th grade. Looks like Linton won 6-0 in a defensive struggle. Jamie Zymendorf had 11 carries, 94 yards, 2 receptions for 22 yards. Briar Killian had 6 carries, 3 pass completions for 34 yards. Colton Eveland had 8 carries for 7 yards. And William Woodruff had 1 reception for 12 yards. Then on defense, Gage Sims with 2 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a kick recovery. Asher Mahan?
Yes.
I nailed it. Look at that.
First time.
Didn't mess it up.
First try. Good job.
2 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a fumble recovery. Benton Hoskins had 2 tackles and 1 tackle for a loss. Zach Stick had 2 tackles and a tackle for a loss. Jamie Zymendorf, 2 tackles and a tackle for a loss. Boys are consistent.
Yes.
William Woodruff had 1 tackle and a tackle for a loss, and Zayden Reisinger had 1 tackle. So good defensively, just got out-edged a little bit. Looks like the 8th grade versus Linton.
They won 20-0.
They won 20-0.
Coach Rawlings sent me a text, and I forgot to write it down.
That's all right.
But they did get the victory.
You remembered those. That's all that matters.
Yeah, well.
They won.
They won. That's all that matters.
So on the offense, Sebastian Stewart, 3 carries for 14 yards. Jake Rates, 11 carries, 69 yards, 4 pass completions, 50 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Man, those boys.
Yeah, they're good. That 8th grade class is pretty good.
Brody Burkle, 6 carries, 22 yards. Jordan Wilson, 1 carry for a yard. Quinn Wilson, 3 receptions, 44 yards, a
It's Quinn,
touchdown.
Quinn Lewis.
Quinn Lewis, what did I say?
You said Quinn Wilson.
Okay, I just combined them.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. So let's try Quinn Lewis. 3 receptions, 44 yards, a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a punt return for a touchdown?
Yep.
All right. Said that with very big
I think
confidence
the film, when I saw the video, he
What it
was
looked
already
like?
running, and he scored a touchdown. So
All right, we'll
I
go with that
assume-
then. Punt
I assume
return
it was
for a
punt return.
touchdown.
We're going to go with that.
And then Austin Brewer with a reception for 6 yards and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Down to the defense, Austin Brewer, big day, 11 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, and a tip punt. That is a pretty monstrous day.
So, it's a good day.
Absolutely. Brody Burkle, 6 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Jordan Wilson, 4 tackles and a tackle for a loss. Jay Slayer, 4 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. Lane Barker, 3 tackles, 1 for a loss. Johnny Aker, 3 tackles, and Wyatt Horn with 3 tackles. So good job to the North
Yes.
Clay. And looks like we're moving over to the Titans. I believe this was their playoffs, right?
This was this was last Saturday about 3:40. We got the
Okay.
text. We got the stats late, so we couldn't put them on last week's show. So here we go.
Here we go. So we have the Junior Titans versus Monrovia. Titans win 14-7 on offense. Bryson Butcher had the game-winning touchdown with an 85-yard run. That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Lucas Harrison had a 50-plus yard touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and Bentley McVeigh with 70 yards. On defense, Bryson Butcher had several big tackles. Bryson Butcher, Colton Jones had several big plays on defense as well. Cruz Shepard with 3 tackles for a loss and 1 fumble recovery. And Grayson Townsend had a big tackle for the loss late in the 4th quarter. That sounds like it helped him seal the deal. Then we move over to the Junior Titans versus Cascade. Looks like they unfortunately lost that one 12-0. We did not receive any offensive stats, but it looks like on defense, Cruz Shepard again and Bryson Butcher both had great games on defense. Colton Jones, River Trussler, and Grayson Townsend both had several tackles. And it looks like Cascade didn't allow any points all season, outscoring their opponents 183-0. So the fact that they held them to 12, great job, kids.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So we jump to Clay County Softball League transition. Team Diner Pod
Oh, man. I wasn't watching that time.
faced off against Wabash Valley Plumbing. Shout out to Heath Wells for running the Stat Tracker 9000. There was 2 games going on that both my kids were playing at the exact same time. So
And
I was
you're only
getting-
one person.
I'm only one man. I need to clone myself. My wife would not appreciate
You
that.
had a good business partner that would help you do these things.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Heath Wells is really stepping up, except
Thanks, Heath.
he kind of blew it in this game, trying to be a coach rather than a Stat Tracker.
dare
Costed us
he.
the game.
Man.
Wabash Valley Plumbing beat Team Diner Pod 8-7. Some stats for Team Diner Pod. Ivy Dyer hit a double, was hit by a pitch, had 5 steals and 2 runs. Vivian Moore had 2 singles. Cece Compton hit by a pitch, 3 steals and a run. Ashlyn Bowman hit by a pitch, 3 steals and a run. There's a lot of thievery going on in this game.
Lots of stealing.
Shaylin Peters had a single, 3 steals and a run. Hadley Wells was hit by a pitch and had a steal. For Wabash Valley Plumbing, Heath tried his best. He didn't get all the names, so we're in a mix of name and numbers. So blame him. Mabry Haviland, 1 single, hit by a pitch, 5 steals and 2 runs.
Good job, Mabry.
Number 1, hit by a pitch, 3 steals and 1 run. Number 5, single, double, 3 steals and a run. I
Oh,
feel like
man.
I feel like we're playing NCAA 14 on the PlayStation.
Number 5. We do not have the rights to their names.
Nope, we don't. Abby Goebel had 2 singles, 4 steals and a run. Number 3 had a single, 3 steals and a run. Number 4, we got a first name. Her name was Cora. Had a single, 3 steals and a run. And Lola, hit by a pitch, had a steal. And Eva had a single, 3
All right.
steals and a run. The player of that game was Maisie Maurer. But also note, umpire Cody Moore had 5 strikeouts.
Oh.
Yeah. We jump over to D&L Creations. They beat TJ Fencing 7-0. The stats we received, just coach's notes and stuff. Sarah Lynn Aker won player of the game. She threw 2 girls out at third and recorded 2 hits to the
Nice.
outfield. And Hadley Rowe had a good hit and pitched a good inning. So great
Good job.
job there. We jump over to Coach Pitch. Team Stitched lost to One Stop Auto 9-2. So about that. Jazz coach for Team
About
Stitch,
that.
she did pitch 10. She had 10 strikeouts.
Oh.
But she pitched to her own team. So,
Ouch.
yeah. So, good job, coach. But we did record some stats Braylon Barong had 1 hit and a run. Lily Lumsden had a hit and a run.
Good job.
Camry had a hit and a run, and Anna Moore 2 hits and 1 run.
Good job, Anna.
Yay! Moose Lodge
I'll tell
defeated. Yeah, Moose Lodge defeated Wabash Valley Ducks Unlimited. They didn't give me a score, so
They just lost.
But
It's
Moose
okay.
Lodge advances to the championship. Elena Coffey hit the ball at every bat and recorded a double. And then for Ducks Unlimited, Riley Modisette went 4 for 4 with RBI and a run. And she played the field well.
Nice.
The coach's note for Ducks Unlimited: the girls improved so much this season, and they're very proud of you girls. So good job on your
That's
hard
what
work.
matters.
Oh, Coach Jasmine Moore just jumps in on the
Should I
chat.
get player of the game?
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe we'll get you a plaque.
That's a good performance.
Yeah. Over at 14U action, More Reliable Home Improvements defeated Cloverleaf Healthcare 10-8. There were co-players of the game: Julia Clodfelter and Emmy Hill. A&B Concrete defeated Mossy Oak 16-2. We have no stats. Now let's jump over to some Pee-wee action.
All right. Well, we're starting with the Lions.
Lions.
All right. We got the Lions versus the Terre Haute Titans. Titans win that one 35-6. Looks like Caden Lark had a 50-yard touchdown. Marius Gent. Dang it. I thought I would get it. I'm sorry. Marius Gent. My bad. Had 52 yards. Marius Gent again with 5 tackles. Caden Lark with 4 tackles. Finn Moore with a tackle. And Kyler Wells with a tackle and a fumble recovery. Rough game for them with the interleague matchup. But offensive MVP, Caden Lark. Snot Knocker, Kyler Lark. No Fear, Finn Moore. And defensive MVP, Marius Gent.
I messed up. It's Kyler Wells. That was my bad. Typo.
On the which one?
For the Snot Knocker. The Snot Knocker was Kyler Wells.
Sorry, Kyler Wells.
My bad. I can't type.
I wonder why there was 2
Well,
Larks.
you know how you failed the 5th grade test?
Yep.
I failed typing.
That's okay.
So,
we have a good yin and yang.
yes,
Fine.
yes.
All right, we'll move on to the Bulldogs versus the West Vigo Vikings. The Bulldogs win 26-20. It looks like Parker Cox had 123 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an extra point. Nolan Moore had 109 yards and a touchdown. Leland Givens with 5 yards. Landon Pestoff with 5 yards. And on the defensive side, Cashton Lowry had 8 tackles. Leland Givens with 5 tackles. Carson Cooprider, Jackson Fielder, Lincoln Trout all had 3 tackles each. Nolan Moore and Branson Wynn with 2 tackles each. Wesley Wilson had 2 tackles and a tackle for a loss. And then
Calix
Emsweiler, did I get it?
You got it.
Had 1 tackle as well. And it looks like for that game, the offensive MVP is Parker Cox. The Snot Knocker is Leland Givens. No Fear is Nolan Moore. And the defensive MVP is Cashton Lowry.
Right.
And we are moving on to the Panthers versus the Terre Haute Sycamores. Looks like the Sycamores got them 19-0. On the offensive side, Grayson Forker had some very tough runs. And then on defense, he came through with 7 tackles. Brody Vinsel, Blaze Branson, and Colin Drury had a handful of tackles each. Sounds like they played a pretty tough Sycamores team.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive MVP, Grayson Forker. The Snot Knocker was Brody Vinsel. No Fear, Colin Drury. And defensive MVP, Grayson Forker. And then it looks like for the player of the week, we have Nolan Moore. And do you want to shout out?
We received every player of the week for this week, thanks to Tony Harden with headbangersports.com. He is sponsoring the players of the week this week, and every player of the week will receive a t-shirt, a Diner Pod t-shirt. So Nolan Moore, you're the first one to win the t-shirt this week. Also, shout out to Tony Harden.
Yeah,
thank you so much. If you need any softball or baseball gear, please reach out to Tony. Great dude. Very great dude. Thank you. Let's jump over to Junior League. Okay. Miners versus Outlaws, the weeknight game. The Miners walked away 6-0 in double overtime. That was a great game to be at. Miners offense, Liam Fabre had 43 rush yards, 15 passing yards, and a touchdown. Damon Ferry had 13 yards. Gavin Bowling, 12 rush yards and 15 receiving yards. Eli Marlowe had 5 yards. Dalton DeWig had 82 yards. And then on the defensive side of things, DeWig again, 6 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a forced fumble. Maddox Stidman had 6 tackles. Damon Ferry had 5 tackles, 1 for a loss. Bowling and Marlowe, 4 tackles. Riley Cooksey and Parker Neese had 3, and Ashton Ferry and Miles Walker each had 2. On the Outlaws side of things, Coach Brian Bumgardner was getting his head shaved, so he couldn't give me offensive stats. But we did get some defensive ones from him. Thank you, Brian. Brant Kraft led the team with 5 tackles. Jeremiah Dickinson, Trenton Monteith, Cam Sterling had 4 tackles each. Jackson Pestoff had 3 tackles and 1 pass deflection. Austin Lara had 3 tackles and a sack. Jace Hickman, Tucker Cooksey, Kenny Roberts, and Liam Kennedy had 2 tackles. So the offensive MVP of that game, Liam Fabre. The snot knocker was Brant Kraft. No fears, Austin Lara. And defensive MVP is Dalton DeWitt.
Congratulations. And I've said every week how the Miners turned it around. That's a pretty big outlaw improvement. So kudos to Brian and those kids, because that's one of the better teams in the league and gave them a heck of a game.
Keep fighting.
Good job, kiddos. Good job, Brian.
Let's jump to Cowboys Miners. Sorry, I had something in my eye. With a tear in my eye. Tearing up about the Outlaws. Miners versus Cowboys. It was 21-0 Cowboys. Cowboys offense. I'm going to take a guess who the first boy is.
Maybe Rates.
Max Rates.
Okay.
2 touchdowns and a conversion. Casey Keith with a touchdown, and Bentley the Boss Bennett had a 2-point conversion pass.
They do have the best nicknames.
They do. Coach Scott Wiley is very clever with the names.
Yeah, they do have good nicknames.
He had a conversion pass to Casey Keith. On defense, big plays from Hollywood Harrington. I got a little tongue tied there. And Nature Boy Nauman. Easy Rider Wilson had several big stops. Gabe Rogers had a big stop on the perimeter. And Max Rates with 6 tackles. Bentley Bennett with 4. And several Cowboys defenders chipped in with tackles of their own. The Cowboys finished the regular season 8-0. On the Miners side, Liam Fabre had 48 rush yards and 17 pass yards. Eli Marlowe had 19 rush yards and 17 receiving yards. Dalton DeWitt, 21 yards, and Damon Ferry, 5. On defense, Ferry, Maddox Stidman, and Dalton DeWitt had 7 tackles each. Eli Marlowe with 4, a tackle for a loss and an interception. Parker Neese and Ashton Ferry, 4 tackles.
Jeez.
They're all over the place.
Boys.
Yeah. Gavin Bowling and Fabre, 3 tackles. Riley Cooksey and Rip Gardner, 2. And Miles Walker with 1. Our awards for that game. Max Rates with the offensive MVP. Yeah. Enough said. The snot knocker was Maddox Stidman, and no fear is Ryder Wilson, and the defensive MVP, Damon Ferry.
Good job, kids.
Yes. And now, Irish versus Outlaws. The Irish walked away with a 19-0 victory. On offense for the Irish, Avery Morris had 5 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cale Sessinger had 4 carries for 18 yards. Crease Staley, 3 carries, 10 yards, and a touchdown. And Javion Robinson, 1 carry, 9 yards, and a conversion. On defense, Big Jack Dearth, 9 tackles.
Man,
I know.
It's a big day.
He's a lot better player than his dad. Love you, Jeremy. Max Osborne had 6 tackles. Iverson Vaughn, 5. And Thatcher Flick, Johnny Intrican, and Jacob Grinwell, and Oliver Marks, 2 tackles. Outlaws offense. Thanks, Brian. We got the stats. Trenton Monteith, 8 carries, 38 yards. Jackson Pestoff, 5 carries, 31 yards, 1 reception for 5. Blake Olson, 1 carry for 4 yards. And then on defense, Camden Sterling, 4 tackles and a forced fumble. Brant Kraft, 4 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, a forced fumble, and an interception. Big day.
That is that.
Coach
Coach
Brian did say Brant Kraft is coming a long way. He's improved every week and is continuing to do good.
Awesome.
And the stats are showing. Jackson Pestoff with 2 tackles, and Blake Olson, Tucker Cooksey, and Austin Lara with 1. The offensive MVP this week for this game, Avery Morris. The snot knockers, Thatcher Flick. No fear is Brant Kraft, and the defensive MVP is Jack Dearth. The Junior League Player of the Week, Brant Kraft. Congratulations. You get a T-shirt.
So send us the size so we know what to order. And
yes, we will be messaging you shortly. Over on the Senior League, here, I'll let you read the first one.
All right. I'm getting a little winded.
Little winded.
All right. The first one we have the Packers versus the Terre Haute Patriots. Packers win big, 56-8. Brockton Stewart, 5 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, and a kickoff return for a touchdown. That is
7.
Incredible.
I got 7. I believe.
Great job, Brockton.
I've told that's a record.
Is it
He
really?
tied his brother's record. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, man. That's awesome, buddy. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Ryan McBride with a reception for a touchdown, and the offensive line dominated the whole game. I would say so. Good job, boys up front. Defense, Ryan McBride and Ben Eder with defensive leaders. Zach Colclazier with an interception. Logan O'Farrell with an interception. Carson Cox had several tackles and tackles for loss. And then Brockton Stewart had several tackles and a sack on defense also. So just an absolute monster performance. Offensive MVP, Brockton Stewart. Snot Knocker, Carson Cox. No Fear, Logan O'Farrell. And defensive MVP, Ben Eder.
Now we go to the Red Devils versus the
Catch your wind
Westfield
back.
Vikings. Yes. Well, this one's short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Yes, just like the head coach. The Vikings win 18-0. We did reach out for quote from Coach Corey Grigsby, and this is all we received. I quote, "They're always after me Lucky Charms." I'm not sure what he's talking about there, but apparently they're after his Lucky Charms. But yeah, that was all we got. Thanks a lot, Corey. Back to you.
All right. Now we will go over to the Warriors versus the Braves. I got to sit and watch this one, and it was one of the funnest games I've watched over there in a while. Braves did inch them out 44-40, but it was awesome. It came down to the last minute. The Warriors had the ball and drove down, and the Braves made a couple great defensive stops and shut them down. But offense, Hunter Hayes with another incredible performance, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, took the first kickoff to the house and then did another one later, had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns and then 2 2-point conversions. Hunter DeWeese, 58 yards and a touchdown, and Case Bath with a yard. On defense, Hunter Hayes had 9 tackles, 1 for a loss, and a fumble recovery. So same thing, him and Brockton both. Great job, boys. That's amazing. Preston Parker, 7 tackles, another amazing performance. He was all over the place. Case Bath, 5 tackles and worked his butt off. I think most of the kids ended up with injuries, it looked like. So I think the coach sent that too. I'm not 100% positive, but
I might have.
Dominic Guy had 4 tackles. Caden Grigsby, 3 tackles. Hunter DeWeese had 2 tackles and a forced fumble, and Kane Westfall had a tackle. Offensive MVP, Hunter Hayes. Snot Knocker, Preston Parker. No Fear, Caden Grigsby. And defensive MVP, Hunter Hayes.
All right. Now we go to Warriors-Grizzlies action through the week. The Warriors walk away with a 28-0 victory on offense. You were at that game.
I was,
yeah.
yes. I was at that one too.
You're there a lot.
Yeah. Well, my kid played for both of those.
That is
teams,
true.
So.
That is true.
Good job, Bri.
We can write the mileage off now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Business expense.
Keep track. The Warriors offense, Hunter DeWeese had 2 yards, 1 reception for 9 yards. Hunter Hayes, 1 reception, 55 yards, 1 receiving touchdown, 20 yards, and a rush touchdown. Case Bath, 2 pass completions, 70 yards, 2 pass touchdowns, 24 yards rushing,
all over the place.
and a rush touchdown. Yes, sounds like it. Caden Grigsby had 7 yards. Carter Coughlin had a reception for 15 yards and a 2-point conversion. Dominic Guy, Big Dom, 11 yards and a 2-point conversion. And Bart Gerchik, 12 yards rushing. On the defense, Dominic Guy led the way with 4 tackles. Hunter Hayes had 2 tackles and a forced fumble. Zane Collins and Coughlin, Bath, Preston Parker, and Robbie Bedell each had a tackle. Bart Gerchik had an interception and a fumble recovery. And Kane Westfall, 1 tackle, 1 fumble recovery. For the Grizzlies, Colton Tremere, 15 carries for 60 yards. Braylon Bruce, 3 for 20. Gavin Hendricks had 2 carries for 19 yards. Jax Modisett, 5 carries for 26 yards. Bentley Neese, 4 carries for 20 yards. Trey Pell, 2 carries, 4 yards. And then Rylan Lumpston, great snaps all game. Congratulations, buddy. He's been working hard on that. I was working with him a little bit, and I was gonna
say he had a little good coach.
He had a good coaching session last week in the diner here. We worked hard. And Nathaniel Valerio,
and he listened.
Yeah, that's hard. Sometimes he doesn't always listen. Nathaniel Valerio had a very dominant performance on the O-line. He had 4 pancakes. And then on the defensive side of things, Eli Starling and Jax Modisett led the team in tackles. The awards for that game, Case Bath was the offensive MVP. Nathaniel Valerio, the snot knocker. No Fear was Carter Coughlin. Defensive MVP was Dominic Guy.
Congratulations.
And the Senior League Player of the Week, Dominic Guy. Congratulations. And also another thank you to Tony Harden for sponsoring these Players of the Week. English was not my best subject in school.
Clearly none of them were mine.
Nope. Nope.
So parents, send us the kid sizes and we'll get those made up for them as well.
We're
and
going to reach out.
Try to get them to them here pretty soon.
And also, the first wave of T-shirt orders ends tonight. So if you want one, get them in.
Get them in this evening.
Hat orders, you can place those at shop.thedinerpod.com.
And we'll post the link to the hats and everything, and we'll repost the
Yes.
link to our shirts as well, but basically just message us for the shirts and go to the link for the hats. But We have them. They're beautiful and
They're
they're comfy.
beautiful. They're soft.
They are very
They're
soft.
very soft.
Stephanie does a great job.
Yes. So,
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in, and remember to eat your lunch for breakfast and have a great night.